Welcome to the circle where we elevate. Nikki, Kurt, and Angel set the record straight. Open conversations every day we relate. No negativity, just a positive state. Finding good vibes every story we share. Support each other, show we truly care. In this community, love is always there. Through the highs and lows, we're a team, we swear. In your circle we rise and fly. No drama, just love, we reach the sky. Support and shine, keep the vibe alive. In your circle, together we thrive. Open minds, open hearts, that's the way we roll. Cheering for each other, that's our ultimate goal. Embrace new ideas, let creativity unfold. In the circle, every story told is gold. Positivity reigns, we chase the light. Through the good, the bad, we keep it tight. No room for drama, keep the vision bright. In your circle, we're soaring to new heights.
Gray Rider Reptiles offers genetic shed testing on 30 different ball python morphs, including Puzzle, Sunset, and Clown. Visit shedtesting.com for your shed testing needs and for fast, reliable service.
Okay, our camera died. So, Angel, you must talk now. There we are.
Hey,
we're
there
working. Woo! Not for long. Our battery's dying, so we're just going to switch to our other camera. What a bummer. That's okay. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for being here. Sorry for the technical difficulties. We're full of them today, apparently. Got them all going. It's still on, but just for a second. It's not going to last long, man. It's not going to last long. Anyway, we're here on this wonderful Saturday with the amazing Bear Harrell from Red Onion Reptiles. Or Frozen. We're gone. Angel.
I'm contemplating whether I should just like pretend to freeze too. And
Don't do it.
You've been having problems this whole time.
Can you hear me?
At least we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. It's okay. Keep going. Angel. It's all on your shoulders. You've got this.
Okay.
The camera.
Okay. So we're here with Bear. What's going on? Hognoses, ball pythons, and watermelons.
Yeah.
How's that all work together?
If it doesn't break me, I guess it'll be okay. Hey, there's Nikki back.
Okay.
I've been involved in some kind of agriculture pretty much all of my life. Cotton, corn, soybeans. I raised purple hull peas for a while. But I've been in a ball pythons for about 4 years. And I just started in the Hognoses back in October, so not quite a year. And they're totally different. You know, anybody that's ever messed with both of them, I told somebody when I got my first Hognoses, you know, you go to your rack and you open up a ball python tub and they're just like looking at you, you know. When I first got my Hognoses, I had one that every time I opened the tub, she jumped out on the floor. Just automatic. As soon as that tub cracked, she'd come flying out of there in the floor. And thank goodness she finally quit doing that. But they're totally different. They're a lot more active. They're moving all the time. I guess I'm a little different than a lot of people are. I keep my Hognoses on cocoa too. But I use Reptile Prime Fine, which it's just about as fine as you can imagine. And the Hognoses really seem to like it. They can burrow in it, but over time, them running around that tub, they'll kind of pack it down. So part of my routine is every day I go in there and spot clean those tubs, and I just kind of stir that stuff up, kind of loosen it up a little bit. and that way they can still burrow in it. And it won't hold their burrows like a lot of things will, but it seems to satisfy them. And one of the first things I heard about hognose when I got in them was that the smell was horrible, and that cocoa totally takes care of that.
Really?
Yeah, I don't.
That's good to know.
I didn't realize how much it was doing until I had one shit in her water bowl one day, and it was when I opened that tub, it just about knocked me over. So yeah, they definitely have a stout odor.
There's something about like colubrid poop that is just, it's worse than python
And they got
sometimes.
a voracious appetite. You know,
Yeah.
I was
They do.
feeding mine twice a week for a long time, and now I've cut them back. I'm kind of on a weird feeding schedule right now. I feed a fuzzy, and then I wait 10 or 11 days, and then I feed like a hopper, which is about the size that they need size-wise for their size. And then I wait a week, and they get a fuzzy, and then I go 11 days, and they get the hopper. So they feeding. They were used to getting fed twice a week, and all of a sudden they're not even getting fed really once a week. And so now they come at you with their mouth open most of the time, hoping they get a hold of something. That's another thing that's kind of weird about them. You know, they're not even close to head shy, or ball pythons don't want you touching the top 3 inches of their bodies, kind of off limits. And these hognoses, if you get up close to their head, they're going to grab a hold of you. So you kind of try to avoid that.
It's because you're delicious.
Yeah.
Craig says he's going to register. Call you. I can never say.
Colubridpoop.com. Yeah.
Yeah. Craig's going to register that. Look out. Oh.
So one of the things.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, okay. One of the things we get at shows all the time with colubrids in general is somebody will come up to the table looking for a feeder item for like a 2 or 3 gram colubrid.
Red Hots. Day old pinkies. That's where you got to start them. Literally, if they're 2 days old, they're too big. They're the tiniest little. They literally look like a red hot. They're little. I mean, y'all raise mice, don't you?
Yeah.
You know what? A day old pinky. That's what you start. And I haven't had any babies yet, so I can't really speak to that. But hopefully, if everything goes good next fall, I'll have hognose babies. And
That's going to be exciting.
Yeah, I'm anxious to, again, there's so much stuff is different. I'm trying to get ready. You got to brumate them. So I bought me a wine cooler to brumate my hognose in, and trying to get it ready, get tubs to fit my wine cooler and all that kind of stuff. So that'll happen probably in February is kind of what I'm thinking. And so 3 months in the wine cooler, and then we'll be ready to breed. And again, like I said, hopefully next fall I'll have some hognose babies. So, and from what I understand, for the most part, once you get them started feeding, they're solid. But I've had a couple that went off feed. I've got one right now that's not wanting to eat, but usually you can work with them a little bit. And anybody's got ball pythons is not going to get too torqued up about a snake that won't eat, because it's, with ball pythons, it's all the time. I had one time that went like 2 weeks being a year without a meal. And she was like 750 grams, I think, when she went off. And she went 50 weeks without a meal. And she was down to like 680. So,
Wow.
For all intents and purposes, didn't really lose any weight in 50 weeks and not taking a meal. So that's my record. But, Yeah, it's not unusual at all to go 6 or 8 weeks sometimes, to have one that won't take a meal. And then, you get males that are breeding and they lose interest in food sometimes. And I'm, for the most part, I think I'm pretty lucky. Most of my males stay on food. So I'm proud of that. I think I got one that didn't eat last week, but a couple of the ones that had not been eaten ate last week, so I took that for a win. But the one that didn't eat was in shed. So anyway,
That's amazing. Angel, you were going to ask a question.
I was just gonna ask how many hogs you have now.
I have 17 right now. 7 males and 10 females. I was at 16 for a long time, and I kind of got myself involved in an auction last week. And
That happened.
well, it was one of those deals that it was not really something that I was looking for, but on the other hand, it was something that I could use. And it was a friend of mine that had the auction, and I thought that snake was way too cheap. So I just got to bidding on it. Started out kind of trying to help him a little bit, and then I get a little territorial when I get involved in an auction. So once I got my teeth into it, it was kind of like, no, I'm not gonna let you buy this thing that cheap. So it's another male. So I was at 6 and 10 for a long time, and that's another thing that's a lot different about hognose. With a ball python, you can go. A lot of mine are 1 to 5, 1 to 7, and I know people that do more than that. Hognose, it's 1 to 2 is kind of max. I've been told by people that tried to do 1 to 3 that their clutch size suffered for it. So
Wow.
that's the other thing. Mine are all 1 to 1 or 1 to 2. I don't have a male that'll be with more than 2 females. And like I said, some of them are just 1 to 1, just because that's the way I bought them. But it took me a little while to get them all, just to get all those pairings just like I wanted them. And they're even when I was buying them as hatchlings, I was buying them knowing how I was going to pair them up. And then I bought this other male, so that kind of screwed everything up. So I'm gonna have to go back and refigure some. I'm gonna end up with one that was a 1 to 2 is gonna be 2 1 to 1s. I guess that's the way it'll end up. But anyway, I'm not a big breeder by any means. I would really like to be at somewhere around 50 to 60 breeding females. And I was actually in here the other day counting and counting the holdbacks that I've got marked right now. I've got 63 females. So somebody at some point is going to have to go now. And that being said, some of them are hatchlings that hatched this year. So it's going to be 2 or 3 years before I got to worry about. And I got plenty of space. I got 500 and something tubs in here and only got 120 snakes. So I caught a sale at ARS. They had a Black Friday sale last fall. I thought, I'm gonna need these racks sooner or later. I might as well go ahead and buy them while I can buy them cheaper. So I ended up buying like 4 racks, I think, when they had that sale going on. That so far hadn't had a snake put in them. But and I've got a 70-30 rack here that I bought probably 2 years ago, and it's got 5 snakes in it. And that's the most it's ever had. So I would not buy that rack again. If I was going to do that again, I'd probably buy 3 or 4 levels of the 70 series tubs and finish it out with 55s. I think that ARS 55 tub is probably the most versatile tub ever. I actually started out with 55s. When I started, I was buying hatchlings. 150, 200 gram hatchlings. And what I was doing, I'd put them in that 55 tub with a hide. And I kind of put the hide in there on the side where kind of half the hide was over the heat and the other half was not. And they got a hide until they weighed 700 grams. When they hit 700 grams, then I pulled the hide out and left them in that tub, and it worked fine. I didn't have any issues. So that, somebody that's starting out that it doesn't want a bunch of snakes, but they want them in a rack, that's kind of a good way to go. Just get you some hides and use the bigger tubs, and those big tubs are good. I wouldn't be a bit afraid. I've had some 2,700 gram females in a 55, and they seem just fine. So the ones that I've got in the 70 series tubs are all probably 3,000 gram females. So, and then the kicker is, as I keep breeding better stuff, I'm selling proven breeder females. It's like last year I had 15 clutches last year, and I sold 9 proven breeder females. So I don't have a whole. I don't have. I've been kind of late to the party this year. I'm only on clutch number 6 right now, and I think a lot of that's just because I sold those proven breeder females that would have had clutches early on this year. So I hope I still got some more coming. I know I got one that's nesting right now. She should, according to her shed, she should lay eggs right around the 1st of August. And then I've got about 5 more that are marked gravid. Once they get the 30 millimeter follicles, I just stick a tag on there that says gravid. And I realize they're really not at that point, but they're most time by 30 millimeter follicles are going to go off feed, and so I just mark them gravid and quit offering them meals and let them do their thing. I just kind of leave them alone. And unless I see something that indicates maybe they may be reabsorbing, then I may pull them out and ultrasound them again. I did have a couple this year that reabsorbed, but that's kind of part of it too.
It is. You just had some babies not too long ago too.
I've got one clutch that's still in the incubator. As a matter of fact, the last ones of that clutch shed today. So they'll be, I leave them in the incubator for a week after they all shed. When the last one sheds, I mark on the tag what the date is a week from today. And that'll be the day I pull them out and move them over to, I've got the mini, the ARS mini rack. They're 130 and I added a level. I've got 140s is what I've got. And so once they're a week past the last one that sheds, I move them over there and I weigh them and record them, do the convert the animals things for the husbandry pro folks. So they come out of the incubator and go into the hatchling tub and then at whatever point the next feeding comes around, I offer them food and I feed my ball pythons on Wednesday. So, if they happen to go into the hatchling tub on Tuesday, they're going to get offered a meal on Wednesday. If they go in on Thursday, they're not going to get offered a meal till the following Wednesday. I try to just go ahead and put them on a schedule. And so far that has worked for me. I've got 22 hatchlings right now that have never missed a meal. So I'm not complaining at all. The first clutch number 1 this year just had their 5th meal Wednesday. And I think clutch number 2 had their 2nd or 3rd. I can't remember. I'd have to look. But anyway, they're all eating. That's all that matters to me.
That is very important because if you're like us, you have some that you're still assist feeding to this day.
Yeah.
It's
been a year.
I had one last year. I assist fed 4 times. And then all of a sudden one day it was like the light bulb came on and she was like, oh, okay, I can do this by myself. And it was funny because, she was small to begin with. She was only I think she was like a 39 gram hatchling. And so she was really tiny. I was having to assist feed her, like a pinky. And so it was, I got pretty good at assist feeding, but like I said, there was 2 of them in that clutch. They were both small. One of them was like 38 and the other one was 39. And the one I assist fed her one time and she took off, and the other one was like, no, I'm not doing that, you know. So I guess she just finally got tired of me shoving rats down her throat and just decided she'd eat. But I don't remember how old that snake was when I sold her, but I remember selling her because she had, you know, she was kind of special, you know, like short bus special. But anyway, that was kind of an experience. I don't I don't want to do that a whole bunch. You know, I like it when I can just throw them in there and I come back in an hour and they're gone.
Yeah.
And that's kind of my deal. You know, I don't try to, you know, hold that rat there and get them to take it from me. Uh, Especially on hatchlings, I found, at least in my case, it seems like I do better if I don't disturb them. Just drop that, you know, drop that little rat in there and close the tub, come back in an hour and see what happened. So
Yeah, the set it
I
and
got,
forget it method.
yeah, and I do that with my other snakes. You know, when I on feeding day, I come in here with all the appropriate size rodents, and I just drop one in every tub and set my phone for the timer on my phone for an hour, and I go find something else to do. I try to get out of the room. I don't even want to be in here making racket, and you know, just try to leave them with their business, and that seems to work for me. So I've stuck with it.
You
Do
have
you?
a oh, go ahead, Angel.
Nope, nope, nope. Go ahead.
Go. Nope. It's your turn.
I was gonna say, do you have like, do you have a backbone to what you're doing? Like, is there a gene or a few genes that are your like bread and butter, your staple? Like you're really working these particular genes.
Dream sickles is the reason I got to breeding ball pythons. I love them, and so I guess my big focus is making dream sickles and adding genes. Uh, I actually, as I said, last year was my first year to hatch ball pythons, and I had two clutches that were one of them was a yellow belly pied het lav female, the other one was just pied het lav, and I paired both of them to an orange dream sickle male, and I ended up with eight dream sickles out of those two clutches, and six of them were females. So I've got three ODYB dreamsicle females and an ODYB dreamsicle male that I'm holding
Nice.
back. And then I've got just a regular dreamsicle female and two orange dreamsicle females. So I'm kind of in a process right now figuring exactly where I'm going to go with them, because I got to be looking for, if I don't make a male to use with them, I'm going to have to buy a male. And anyway, you know, I got into the dreamsicle thing, and then I got interested in clown pods, and so you know the natural progression there is to try to mix those two together and make holy grails. So I'm making. I should have. I've got two clutches that are very close right now that should make me some grails this year. I've got a leopard blackhead double het clown lavender that's paired with a grail male, and then I've got a super blade clown het lav that's paired with my grail male, and so both of those clutches should have some grails, and I've got some stuff coming on that I've already got some things to make holy grails. I'm just a year or so away from them being big enough. So, and then I've got a whole lot more grail stuff too. I've probably got 4 or 5 females that are different. I've got like a cinnamon clown het lav and a leopard clown het lav. Both of those are just about big enough to pair, so they'll go with my grail male. And then I've got a few females. I bought a grail heifer pied female. She's probably around 750, 800 grams right now. And then I've got a pastel leopard, blackhead, yellow belly, clown, double het, lav, pied, female. So she's, and I bought a male that's a dreamsicle heifer clown, possible MJ exanthic. So he's the one that's going to end up going to those females. And then I've also got 3 triple het lav clown pied females that I raised myself. So he'll go to them. I've actually got I think altogether I've got 6 females that I can put that boy to at some point. But like I said, I'm still a couple of year and a half, 2 years probably from being there.
Something to look forward to.
I'm gonna drag that one female out just because I like to show her off.
Absolutely.
So down in your,
and she's in shed.
Now go.
oh, so down in your area,
She even looks good when she's in shed.
Can you hear it? Go.
So the hognoses, when did you decide to bring in hognoses?
Well,
Oh, here, I'll make him big.
like last October.
Okay,
Oh, she's pretty.
that's gorgeous.
I can
Yeah,
see why
she-
you like
like-
to show her off.
Like I said, she's in shed right now. She looks a whole lot better when she's not. She's
What is she again?
He is a pastel leopard, blackhead, yellow belly, clown, double het, lav, pied.
Oh, she's pretty.
She's a
That's-
mouthful.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like up here, most of the hognose breeders have no difficulty at all selling the majority of their inventory. Do you feel it's the same down where you're at?
I don't go to a lot of shows. I'm too old and lazy, I guess, to want to work that
No,
hard.
you're busy.
But when I got into this thing, that was really never part of my business model. I was going to raise ball pythons and sell them on the internet. This was supposed to be my retirement gig. Okay. I was just going to get a few ball pythons to play with in my retirement. And that has turned into me having part-time help to take care of my retirement gig. I got a girl that helps me 2 days a week. My brother-in-law told me that I can't do anything half-assed is my problem. So, I got into this thing and it's really not about selling to me. I just want to make cool shit.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to buy it, okay, but it's hard for me to let the cool shit go.
Absolutely.
So, but to answer, I got off track. To answer your question,
There's nothing wrong with making shit for yourself. I'm sorry, but I do.
Absolutely
I have
not.
snakes sitting here that have been sitting here for years. I don't give 2 shits about that. That I'm not selling or breeding. I made them for myself.
There you go.
I just like looking at them.
yep, that one that
Absolutely.
I just got out. I tell people all the time, if I don't open but one tub in this room every day, that's the one I'm going to open and look at, because every time I look at her, I'm just amazed. I hate that she's in shed because she's just amazing. But the hognose thing, I do go to a few shows. I've kind of narrowed it down to 3 shows that are within about inside of 3 hours from where I live. And
Perfect.
so I try to hit those 3 shows every time, they come around. As long as it's not deer season. If it's deer season, all bets are off. I'm going to be in a tree somewhere. So,
the shows that are by you, are they like size wise? Like how many vendors would you say are there?
I don't know. They're probably maybe 70 to 120.
Vendors?
It varies. Yeah, and
That's good.
there's one at South Haven, Mississippi, which is more or less a suburb of Memphis. and it's getting so big. They have it at what they call the Landers Center, which is it's a big concert venue, but it also has like smaller rooms adjacent to it that they use for this kind of stuff. And I heard that they're actually thinking about switching that over to the big room because they're turning so many people away that want to vend that show.
Wow.
And yeah, and I like that show. It's a good one, and it's like an hour and a half from my house, so it's convenient. And anyway, what I started to tell you about the shows, I've got a flat screen TV that I plug a flash drive into that I put pictures of whatever. I'll have pictures of this room, and I said when I did that, I said I did it because I want people to know I'm not raising these in a closet in my bedroom. That I like the people to see where they're coming from, and that I'm serious about this shit. And so I've got pictures of this room, and I've got pictures of my breeders, and stuff that they're not going to see on my table. And I run this slideshow. It's just a continuous loop, while I'm at the show. And let's see, two shows ago, I decided I was going to put some hognose pictures into the slideshow because, as I said, I'm thinking by next fall I'm going to have some babies to sell. So I'm kind of trying to start to market that a little bit. And you cannot believe the number of people that would see that slideshow and they say, "You got hognose?" And I said, "Well, give me about a year and I will." And so I've got a lot of people that are interested in what I got coming. And I jumped into hognose both feet in the deep end. When I got into ball pythons, as I said, I was just wanting something to play with in my retirement. So I just bought a bunch of cheap stuff. I had like single gene fire and a pastel and a inchy and a lot of variety. And then at some point during that first year that I was buying, I kind of got to looking at what people were doing, and I thought, there's probably a little bit of money to be made here if I do it right. And so that's when I bought the two pied het lab females. I bought a black axanthic female and a little bit higher end stuff. But I still, the first year I bought 20 females and I spent $10,000. So $500 a snake average, and a whole bunch of those were $100 snakes, So when I decided to get into the hognose business, I was just hell bent that I wasn't going to do that again. So I bought some very high end hognose. I'm right at the top of what's bringing the big money in the hognose game right now. And
What's like the tip top right now? I used to work on nose. I haven't done it in years, but
one of the projects that I'm working in is the Mai Tais. And as a matter of fact, the male that I bought in the auction last week is a Mai Tai male. All of the ones that I bought were, Mai Tai is a sable toffee belly. It's a double recessive. Okay, so all of the ones I had were like, I've got a male that's like an Arctic Conda sable het toffee. And then I've got two females that are, I think one of them's an Arctic Super Conda, but they're toffee het sable. So, I'm doing all that to try to make Mai Tais that are Arctic, Super Arctic, Conda, Super Conda, Mai Tai, which is, like I said, sable toffee. So buying the Mai Tai male kind of bumps me up a notch as far as, what I can produce there. So I really didn't mind spending that money. And but anyway, I bought some, I've got one Swiss chocolate female, which is kind of I hate to say new, but it's one of the newer genes in the hognose, and it's sort of like sable. It's a hypomelanistic gene, dark gene, and she's also poshet for albino. And I've got a PPA albino, which is a PPA's pink pastel albino, and then albino, which in hognoses is 2 different genes.
Mhm.
So that's actually a double recessive that they call an electric. So I've got an Arctic electric male. That's the weird part. The hardest part to get used to with hognoses is every friggin' double recessive has got a different name. You know, they got to come up with a name for them, and it drives me nuts trying to remember. I just about, you know, you just about got to have a program to know who all the players are. But anyway, I'm a spreadsheet kind of guy, so I do the same thing with my ball pythons. Even though I use Husbandry Pro, I keep a spreadsheet of all of my breeders, so because it's easier for me to sit and look. I'll sit in my recliner at night and I look at these pairings, you know, and I think, you know, this would be better if I did this, or this would be better if I did this, and it just gives me something visually to look at to see where I'm going with this. And I did the same thing with the hog noses. So I've got, as I said, I'm pretty heavily invested in the Mai Tai, and I'm pretty heavily invested in Sunburst, which is sable albino double recessive. And so, and the thing about it is there's a whole bunch of other stuff that you can make while you're making those, you know. And but one thing with the hognose is you don't have the numbers to compete with like you do with ball pythons. I know at one time, you know, you look at Morph Market at one time, we were like pushing 50,000 ball pythons on Morph Market, and at that same time there was like 4,800 hognose. And so, you know, you don't have the competition. The other side of that is, I think there's a lot of people like me that saw that and they're getting into it. So, you know, I got my fingers crossed that I can make a few of these before, you know, everything.
I think you're okay. And the reason I say it is hogs go, like they sell really well. And also I find more people get hogs as pets rather than to breed. A lot of people get hogs, you know, they'll get
I
ball
think
pythons as
you're right.
pets, and then they end up turning into breeders, where hog nose people will just get a couple. I find a lot of kids like hog noses and stuff too. When
As
I
I
got
said,
into hog noses was like in 2012, and that was like in 2010, 2012, 13, when like the anacondas had gotten like very
right?
popular, than the supercondas and the albinos and all this stuff,
Yeah,
and it was getting huge, and everybody was buying them, but and not everybody was breeding them. And it seems to be
yeah,
the same now. And there were tons of morphs coming out. And there were pink pastels back then, and people were doing like the snow condas and all that kind of
yeah,
stuff. And people were saying, oh, the same thing's going to happen to them. It happened with the balls, and it didn't. It
yeah.
absolutely did not.
And, you know, again, I didn't necessarily get into it. I laughed and told people when I was getting the hognose, I said, I'm getting me some hognose to support my ball python habit. So, but realistically, I'm the same way with the hogs. I just want to make some cool shit. So,
Yeah. And you can.
I
There's
think
a lot of different combos.
I'm gonna grab a couple of hognose, show you
Yeah,
my
we were
favorites
next
anyway.
to the
Ooh.
hognose vendor in Hillsboro, and we could I could overhear them selling their product, and people were buying, you know, $1,800 hog noses,
Mhm.
like they were nothing.
They were
I
buying
think
them
that
like
was the
crazy.
show they completely sold out.
All day long.
Yeah.
People love them.
This
Look
is
at
a
that thing.
RBE pastel Arctic Superconda Toffee Het Sable. So this is
Man, that's
a
gorgeous.
Mai Tai maker. But
That's really cool.
she's probably my favorite as far as looks, and the camera doesn't do her justice.
Look at that
But
dark belly.
Yeah, and the fire behind the eye.
Yeah.
that's the cool part of the hognoses have all got cool bellies. But I think she looks like she's
Wow.
got flames on her head.
Yep.
Yeah. They are really cute. Oh no, did we lose Bear's sound?
And she's
There, now we can still hear.
she's one of my favorites as far as looks. As I said, I'm a I'm a really big fan of the super condas. The super conda, it takes all of the pattern out of the body. It only leaves pattern
Okay.
in the head.
And
So
don't they have
that's
like a jet black belly,
well. This is a toffee belly, so
toffee belly?
it's got the toffee. So and like I
That's
said,
gorgeous.
she's Heifer Sable and she's an Arctic super conda. Anyway, she should make me some Mai Tais, maybe with a little luck, super conda Mai Tais like her.
They do have little shovel faces. You're right, Will.
That's the thing
Faces are
too. People
cute.
think they're cute. They stay small. You know, the
Yeah.
care is
I think
is
I think
fairly simple.
that's the big thing that attracts people to them is the fact that they don't get real big.
Yeah. And even you can even say like, oh, I'll get a male instead because the males don't get as big as females.
This is a Swiss chocolate.
I can see why.
No extra genes here. She is Posset albino, but no Arctic, no Conda, just Swiss chocolate. And these came from Switzerland.
That's cool.
Jules Tosh is the one that found this gene, and that's the reason why there's not just a ton of them in the U.S. yet.
They are so cute.
They got cute little faces, don't they?
They do. And that's them.
See, they're always moving. Always moving.
Yeah.
I love like they have like
She's
no neck. It's just like head and body.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's great.
That's it.
Absolutely. Just love it.
Like a piece of hose.
She's not camera shy at all. Is that them full grown? Is that their size full grown?
Yeah, well, these two that I showed you are like just over 100 grams. And the females need to be like probably over 180 before you start pairing them.
That's wild.
Males only need to be about 60 grams. So
That's
this is
wild.
this is a Mai Tai. This is the one I bought at auction last week, and he's like 45, 46 grams.
That's hilarious.
Right.
And another 20 grams, he'll be ready to go.
Right.
That's wild.
That's so cool. It's so
And you can
cool.
see you can see the red eyes on him.
Gorgeous.
See yeah, I love this guy. He's possible Arctic, but I didn't buy him as an Arctic. There's some of these. Arctic is one of those things that sometimes is sort of hard to identify. So he's pos Arctic, so we'll see what he produces. But good possibility he'll get paired to that first female that I showed you because she's toffee het sable, and of course the Mai Tai is a sable toffee. So I should be able to make some Mai Tais. And since she's super conda, they'll all be condas. So I won't have a chance to make super condas, but
Well, I can see why you like them so much. They're adorable.
yeah, like I said, they're cool. I like the hog noses.
They have happy little faces. And I like Angel's comment. You're right. They don't have a neck.
Yeah,
They're really cute.
And when I was feeding them twice a week, you should have seen them.
I believe that. It's like our
Yeah, they
chubby
can
little
get-
king snake.
They can get pudgy. They can. It's cute, but it's not healthy.
No. So what's considered the weight of a large hognose, like healthy large hognose?
They'll get 250, 300-ish, I think.
Oh my goodness.
Uh,
That's wild.
but full grown, they're like 2 feet long. 30 inches is probably a huge hognose.
That's
This was
adorable.
This was my favorite hatchling from last year. This is one of my ODYB dreamsicles that I made. She's
Man, that's
female.
gorgeous.
It's pretty.
You've got fun stuff, Bear.
I'll turn these lights down a notch, see if I can keep them from washing her out so bad. Sometimes. Is that better?
Yeah, it's a little bit
she's
better.
just so
She's
bright.
just so bright. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's really bright. Beautiful.
She's a pretty girl.
And that, yeah, the brightness is what you're going for. So
Yeah.
perfect.
Oh, she's pretty.
I like the multi-tone of yellow.
Seriously.
You know, the Orange Dream Dreamsicles really end up with some cool yellow-orange. The Orange Dream Dreamsicles will lighten up with age, but they don't ever get to where they don't look awesome, as far as I'm concerned. Here's one. This one right here is born May of 21, so he's 3 years old. And this is the daddy of that girl. But you can see the same thing in him. I don't know. Can you see how the yellow inside of the orange? And of course, as they age, that orange kind of lightens up a little bit. But,
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
but you can.
Oh yeah.
There's just so many cool shades of yellow and orange in these snakes when you get that Orange Dream. And leopard works well, and I'm trying to work out where I can get some Mojave in it. Somebody told me Mojave looks really good in Dreamsicles. So
Nice.
I've got a Inchy Cinnamon Dreamsicle that looks awesome, but he's with a female right now, and he's in shed too. So
He's got the do not disturb sticker on right now.
yeah, you know how it is. Got the Barry White playing.
Yeah.
This is kind of a cool looking snake too. I got one clutch out of him so far this year.
Wow.
This is he's a fire GHI yellow belly lace het clown.
Wow.
And
That is-
I bought him in a group with a bunch of different clown females. They're all visual clowns and different incomplete dominant genes.
He's
Yeah, lace is something that we'd like to add eventually, but we're
I
not
love
sure exactly what project to throw it into.
I am my end game there. I think is to try to get that into the Holy Grails. You know, I'm doing the lace clown deal right now and trying to get a lot of genes with it, and then eventually try to move that into the Holy Grail. Like I said, I'm working with clown pieds, and I'm also working to get hypo into my clown pieds. I bought a few females this year. I bought a OD Fire hypo clown female, and then I bought a hypo pied proven breeder and a Mojave yellow belly hypo female that was a proven breeder. So few different ones to try to get some hypo into some of these projects. I think hypo's way underrated right now. I love what it does, and this is a Mojave GHI Fire hypo male.
I agree. Hypo's amazing. Everybody should have hypo.
Yeah,
seriously.
I can't wait to get
Incredible.
hypo in my Dreamsicles. That's kind of probably going to be one of the first. And of course, most of the stuff I've bought is to try to get hypo clown pieds.
Nice.
That's kind of where that deal's going. As a matter of fact, the Orange Dream Fire hypo clown female and the hypo pied female, both of those are going to go to my yellow belly clown pied male. One of them I'm already pairing. The proven breeder, I started pairing her 2 weeks ago. So, and this guy here, he'll end up getting some more use in that project too. The clutch of eggs that I've got that just shed out today is out of this guy. And they're,
She's handsome.
you know, nothing really super special, but they're all het for hypo. A couple of bells. They sell good at the shows. So.
Yeah, we've got a similar female. She just doesn't have fire, but they look really nice.
They do.
Let me grab talking about lace. Let me grab this one hatchling. This is out of my clutch number 1 this year.
You said it's a lace.
Yeah.
She is a GHI lace het clown. If she was a clown, she wouldn't be for sale. But see, I don't. I'm trying to stop myself from having hets as much as possible. So anyway, she's a.
Yeah. Nice and dark.
She is, for a fact, really dark. She's a good-looking girl, no doubt.
She's pretty. Very pretty.
Yeah. The combination of GHI and lace, where GHI is changing the pattern, lace affects the pattern,
Yeah.
and then it's darker from the GHI. It's a nice looking snake.
I got one right here. I wish was a female. This is out of my Pied Het Laugh clutch. This was the Orange Dreamsicle male that I just showed you, and the female was a Orange Dream Yellow Belly Leopard Pied. So,
Oh, see, look at that.
It's pretty.
and this
It's
is a
pretty.
male, but he got all the genes. He's a super Orange Dream Yellow Belly Leopard Pied Het Laugh. Like I said, if this was a female, I'd probably be keeping it.
Angel, that looks right up your alley.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very
Angel
nice.
loves Pied.
Absolutely.
This was a
mean,
really nice,
who doesn't,
nice
but-
looking clutch. And like I said, all of these are Het Laugh. So
Should
Somebody
change
wanna
this
make-
to a pied.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
really should.
Leave some orange. Make it an OD
This-
pied. OD vanilla pied. There you go, Angel.
Yes.
I can't decide for sure if this one's leopard. I've got it marked possible leopard, but it got it's super Orange Dream, Yellow Belly. Like I said, possible leopard.
Oh, they look so good.
Yeah, leopard for us is one of those genes in the stuff we have it in. It can be almost impossible to tell sometimes. We have it mainly
Oh.
in pinstripe.
When you get it in these pieds, especially,
Oh, yeah.
it gets kind of hard to identify. But anyway, this one's a female. There
That
was,
looks pretty.
I think there's 6 in that clutch, I believe, and 2 males. The rest of them are females.
Ooh.
That's really good odds.
And they'll all be for sale
Very pretty.
because if I determine that this one is leopard, I might keep her because I don't have leopard in my dreamsicles yet, and that would give me an opportunity to get it there. But I've got some more stuff coming. I've got a Starburst, which is inchy leopard lavender. It's 50% het for pied. So if she turns out to be het pied, then I can make dreamsicles there that'll have leopard in them. And if that happens, then I definitely won't keep one of these pied het laughs. And I've also got a inchy lavender het pied. Maybe inchy leopard lavender. No, I think she's just inchy lavender. Yeah, inchy
You got some-
lavender.
Cool stuff.
She's a beautiful girl, and she's getting paired with the inchy cinnamon dreamsicle.
Oh yeah. I've got a question about your facility.
Okay.
Is that something you remodeled or did you completely redo it for the purpose of breeding?
This is a portable building. So I bought the building. I ordered the building and had it built like I wanted it built. The company that I bought the building from has some options, and like this building has 3/4 inch Advantech flooring. It's got the foil back plywood walls and ceiling, and some of that extra stuff that I did, and then they brought the building in here and set it up, and I did all the work inside myself, plumbing, electrical. This thing was purpose done to raise snakes in. So they call it a 12 by 32 building, but the way they measure these buildings is what they have to buy a permit for to move. So it's actually 12 foot wide, like drip edge to drip edge on the roof. So inside this room is like a little over, or right at 11 feet wide, and it's about 31.5 feet long, I think, something like that. And so, as I said, I did all the plumbing and electrical, and then I've got a buddy that does a blown foam insulation.
Nice.
So he did the blown foam. It's closed cell foam, so it's foam all the way around. This thing's like a big Yeti cooler, and
Perfect for your
love
climate.
and then I don't know if you can see the ceiling fans or not, but there's 3 ceiling fans in this room that run in reverse, so they're moving air down the walls, and then I've got the big blue fan down there at the end that I've got turned off because it's noisy. But the big blue fan moves air lengthwise of the room, and then I've also got a evaporative cooler down there that I actually use as a humidifier. It's hooked up to a herpstat with a humidity probe, and anytime the humidity in here gets down to 65, the evaporative cooler kicks on, and it runs until the humidity gets up to 70, and then it kicks off. So it's constantly kicking on and off and keeping the humidity in here is always between 65 and 70. And with the insulation like I've got it, really the only reason there's a swing at all is just because the way the mini splits work. They're not probably as accurate as a central heat and air unit. They have about a 3-degree swing. So if I keep it set on 79, with my goal is 80, and about as warm as it ever gets in here, even like when it's over 100 outside, it might get up to like 83 or 84 in here, usually 83. And it'll, when it cools off at night, it'll get down to 79. So the temperature in here is always between 79 and 83, and the humidity is always between 65 and 70. And there's a huge amount of air movement, so it's that way top to bottom. Last winter, it was 9 degrees here for about 3 days, and I got out here with my temp gun, just checking stuff. And you could shoot the floor, the wall, the rack, the ceiling, everything was 80, 79, 80 degrees. And and one of the good things, I've got this, I bought it's like an aftermarket thermostat. It wasn't part of the system, but you can set it on auto so that so much of the time where I live, you need heat at night and air conditioning during the day. It's crazy. So the way this thing works is if it gets cool enough in here that the heat needs to kick on, it'll kick the heat on. And then if it gets warm enough that it needs air conditioning, it'll kick the air conditioner on. So I don't have to constantly monitor which one needs to be running in order to have this building right. And it'll always stay within that like 4-degree swing. But it heats if it needs heat, and it cools if it needs cool. Now, this time of year where I absolutely don't need the heat, I just leave it on cool because it has a little bit closer temperature swing. But when we get into fall, then I switch it over to that auto mode, And like I said, the big blue fan, it sits right underneath that mini split, so it moves that air the length of this room. And everything's. I did a lot of planning before I built this building, and for the most part, everything worked out about the way I had it planned. The only real issue I've had is the floor. And when I first built it, I decided I was just going to paint the floor with that epoxy paint. And the epoxy paint was great. You know, it was very durable. Everything was good. But my problem with it is it didn't cover the nail holes and the cracks between the plywood real well. So when you go to sweep the floor, it was hard to sweep. And so I kind of got pissed off about that. And I ended up buying some of that vinyl plank. And me and my son put that vinyl plank down, and it lasted about 2 months. And I roll around in here in one of these roll around chairs all the time, and I literally just tore that vinyl plank to pieces. And so the stuff I got down here now is like a 1/4 inch thick. It's some kind of rubberized kind of flooring, but reason I bought it is it's designed for warehouses and loading docks. You can literally run a forklift on this shit. So I figured if you can run a forklift on it, I'm not going to tear it up with my roll around chair. And so far, it's been great. It's not pretty, but I wouldn't want it in my dining room, but it's great for out here. And
yeah,
so.
That's what we did too. We put it's basically horse mat, stall mat in for our flooring. But I want to touch on one thing you said. For anybody who's planning on building a rodent, or not a rodent, but a snake facility, make sure you go 12 feet if you can. We went 10, and the inside it's really tight when you get racks on both sides.
Yeah, well,
it's
you can
really,
see where
really
I'm
tight.
sitting here right now. I can touch racks on both sides, and these are both the deep ones. This is a 30 or 70 series on this side, and a 55 on this side. So where you got the hatchling racks and stuff, you got a little bit more room. But as I said, this one's about 11 feet, and it's about right. I don't really, not very many times I wish for more width. Knowing now, I didn't know then. I would probably want the full 12 foot inside, but 11 works.
Yep.
I've got these carts, we use them when we're cleaning tubs and doing stuff like that. I got one that's tall that I can use when I'm standing up, and I got one back there that's short that I can use when I'm sitting down. So I keep 2 carts in here, but yeah, the width is definitely. I ran into that in my rat room. I've got one rat room. The first rat room that I built's 8 by 9, and so it's only 8 foot wide, and you get 2 people in there trying to work. You better be comfortable with each other, is all I can say.
Well, Bear, we've reached our hour mark, and that's usually where we wrap things up so
Good.
that people can enjoy the rest of their Saturday. But I have to say, it has been a pleasure getting to know more about you. And I feel like there's probably even more we could get to know about you.
It's a pleasure to be here. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. We really thank you for being here, and we look forward to seeing, all of your fun things you have coming up with your ball pythons, but especially those hognoses next fall.
We got about another year, a little over a year. We'll have hopefully have some baby hognoses.
Be following for sure. I want to see.
Yes,
Absolutely.
And if you don't follow Bear, you need to check him out at Red Onion Reptiles on Instagram and see what he's up to, because he's up to all sorts of wonderful things over there.
We put all of his information down below, so you can go check down there.
Follow him.
Appreciate it.
Well, thank you for being here, Bear, and we hope that everybody in here has a wonderful rest of their day.
I'm glad we made it through without any more technical difficulties.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
Hey, if we can make it through that, we've got it. We've got this.
It's me. I'm telling you, that shit follows me around.
No, it's us too.
Yeah.
But we did it, and we did it together, you guys. That's what counts.
We made it.
All good. Enjoyed
All
being
right.
here.
Well, thanks for being here, and we hope everybody has a great rest of their day and happy weekend.
Right,
See you
everybody.
next time.
Have a good one.
Through the ups and downs, we stay strong. In your circle, that's where we belong. Lifting each other all day long. In this family, we can't go wrong. In your circle, we ride.